thing called life. Cafe Cubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners, and that is in their drive-thru in North Syracuse, and you can find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York as well. I want to thank you for your patience this morning. We were all ready to go in the studio, and my annoying moment of the week has apparently shifted because Facebook. So we'll talk about it in just a couple moments. Here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we appreciate you being with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. Can't thank you enough for being a part of the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So much appreciation and many thanks for being a part of the broadcast here on Wake Up Call on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT, on WakeUpCallDT.com, and on Facebook.com / Live Now DT. So we appreciate you being here. And here on today's broadcast, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', we will start the show off with the annoying moment of the week, as we always do on Fridays. And like I said, I had one, and now I have maybe more than one, because Facebook. And I know Mark Zuckerberg and the algorithm are checking me right now. He's saying something negative about Facebook. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to stop the feed? Are we going to mess up the audio? Are we going to put a copyright claim out for no reason? So we'll talk about it in the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Then we'll get into lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today's topic fits perfectly with the acronym LEAD, because today's topic is, what is leadership? How do I define it? So, top dog of the week, we will be celebrating Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse men's basketball team as they continue to make history in their regular season. Clay Gagen-Sherman, the head coach, will be joining me around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, two mics, no filter, Andrea and I have the Valentine's Day hangover, for the Valentine hangover for you. Valentine's hangover special of two mics, no filter. What is that? It's about dating. It's about relationships. It's about Valentine's Day. Do you buy something? Do you not buy something? Do you celebrate the holiday? We have it all. If you had a great Valentine's Day, we have something for you. If you didn't, well, we have something for you. So the Valentine's Day hangover is coming up with Andrea and I around 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time this morning. Very much looking forward to bringing that to you. So plenty of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And with that being said, we're going to hop right into it with the annoying moment of the week. Proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and it is here with you right now.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you... Is that for real? Are you kidding me? The annoying moment of the week. I'm really honest. I don't know how to respond to this. Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like. You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. For today, folks, the annoying moment of the week, it was going to be one thing and maybe thinking about some other things, but we got to start here. It's Facebook. And I know Facebook, you're going to get weird, you're going to get angry, you're probably going to do something to my feed because you don't affect people, but you do. And so here's my thing. Social media should be used for good. Not everybody does it, but Facebook has done a lot of crazy things in my time. I put up my interview with Michelle Montaigne, and Facebook flagged it as pornography, and it was the two of our heads talking about sports. So that was fun, and I had to fight that. And then Facebook's like, oh my gosh, we made a mistake. Oh no. And then Facebook laid a copyright claim on me sharing Dave Chappelle talking about Syracuse, New York. Never said it was mine. Never said I owned it. Literally was just like, hey, so good to hear Dave Chappelle, you know, one of my favorite comedians, talking about Syracuse. And that was a year after I had posted it. They flagged me for inappropriate content that went against their community standards or whatever they called it. It was some type of content that went against their community standards. It was a picture of Jim Boeheim coaching, like turning to the side and pointing, because I had interviewed him on my show and I put that up there. Facebook has flagged me for posting too much, which just means I'm working a lot. And this morning, Facebook did not allow me to test any of the audio for the live feed. So, y'all have made it to the annoying moment of the week in a big, big way. So congratulations to you, Facebook, because you continue to totally confuse me as to who you actually flag, who you pay attention to, who you care about, and who you let just willy-nilly just shoot off guns into the air type of thing. So listen, I use this avenue because I've been able to reach a lot of people by it, but I would love it if Facebook got better. I would love it if they left good people alone. I would love it if their algorithm made sense, and I would love it if they would treat somebody like me with respect when I treat everybody else with respect. So that's all I'm going to say about that. The next annoying moment of the week would probably have to be, for me, for this week, I would have to say my annoying moment of the week this week would be people not knowing who you are. And, okay, we'll talk about it. Not everybody, and this could be in business, this could be in relationships, apparently not everybody knows how to talk to people, and when you do it your whole life and you try to, like I said before, respect people and treat people kindly and, and try to think about their feelings and what matters to them, you're kind of taken aback when people talk to you in such a way that makes you feel like, one, they've never spoken to a human being before, and two, that they really don't care about what you think or what you feel or what's going on. I am not the type of person to defend myself in the sense of I can talk about what I believe in and I could talk about what matters to me, but I'm not going to defend myself to you, right? I'm not going to put on a coat of armor and prove to you that I'm a good person. That is not what Daniel does. And I say myself in the third person, completely joking, because I don't talk that way. But that's not what I do. And, I experienced that this week, and I've experienced that before, where, people want you to constantly prove to them who you are, that you're good enough, that you're worthy of their time, worthy to be on the phone with them, worthy to be in the same room as them. And I don't do the worthy game with people. That is not a game that I play, and I genuinely could care less about those people and how they view me, because in the grand scheme of things, I really don't care to know those people. And I feel that it is far easier in life to just be a nice person than it is to go out and try to hurt people, right? I think it's far easier to be a good person and to just be kind and generous with your time and, just help people out and find ways to connect with people. I don't talk to anybody like they're below me. I don't have that bone in my body, and I don't believe that anybody should, right? I think the way you treat people is the way you're eventually going to get treated. And so what you do in life, it's either coming back in a really nice little bow, or it's coming back like a bullet, and like a hurricane. And I don't, and that's not me wishing bad on anybody. I'm not. I just don't fire missiles and you hope that missiles don't come back. Sometimes missiles come at you whether or not you fire them, but being in a conversation this week where I really genuinely felt like, and it was someone who had disrespected me before, and what do they say? Fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And so, what I learned from that first conversation that I really genuinely didn't like by any stretch of the imagination is if and when this conversation happened again, I was already 1 foot out the door. And, I would come to you all today and say, don't put up with that. Don't be disrespectful, but don't put up with that. There's no amount of money that is worth being disrespected. There is nothing in a relationship that is worth being disrespected. Oh, I don't like my husband, but he got me a big house and a nice car. Okay, well, why don't you like him? Well, he's verbally abusive and da-da-da-da-da, but I got a Mercedes. Okay, verbal abuse, Mercedes. Priorities, folks, right? Because I feel very bad I feel sad for the people that think that a Mercedes is better than being treated with respect. And you have to find within yourself where you kind of broke, because that's a break, right? That's a snapping of the twig if you care more about a car than you do about your self-worth. So, they say to each their own and everybody's different. I know that is true, but to just, to say, okay, there's just people in society that you can treat them however you want to treat them. You treat them like a dirty rag, but you buy them cars and you get them a house and you feed them and they're fine. That's somebody whose soul is stuck in a desert on a journey somewhere. And I pray for those people. I really do. Because to me, I've been faced with that before. I've been faced with the conversations and relationships where it's, do you respect yourself enough to say this is enough? I've been in those situations in business where it's, do you respect yourself enough to say, yeah, this is money, but not like this. I don't want it like this. And, to me, I'm always going to lean on the side of taking care of myself and being good to other people. I'm going to lean on that. I find that if you get lost in the grand scheme of things and you start focusing on the money and the prowess and the power and all that stuff, it doesn't get you anywhere. Look at Anthony Bourdain, right? Look at Chris Farley. Look at Kate Spade. The money and the power didn't get them to the top of the mountain and stay there. It might have made them feel like they were there for a minute, but it didn't last. Because who you are to yourself, who you are behind closed doors, anybody can go on a stage, right? And, well, I shouldn't say anybody can go on a stage, but people that go on stages, some of them that are really good performers, they look very happy, right? Some people that are really good performers look really happy. They look really happy, but they're not really happy. And there's a difference between, I'm going to go out here and kill it and have a great time, and I'm going to go out here and kill it and have a great time and not be myself, right? Not be who you are, not be that person behind closed doors. Because we are not always watching, when we think we're watching somebody, we're watching an actor or an actress and we're thinking to ourselves, wow, they're so good at acting on the movie screen, right? They're incredible. Well, some of those people act in real life. They act happy. And not everybody's happy, right? People put up facades. And you have to be cognizant of that. All the money and all the power and the prestige and the job title, that doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you healthy. It depends on how you treat yourself and how you treat other people. And eventually, how you treat yourself and how you treat other people will always find you. It always comes back. It always catches up. Because how you treat other people eventually spins back around. And how you treat yourself
will always find you.
That's going to find you too. Because how you treat yourself, you can't hide from that. You can't hide from what you do to yourself. And it would behoove people to start to learn that life isn't just about getting what I want, how I want, when I want, by any means necessary. Because those means will sometimes turn themselves around and find you how you got it, right? if you're a good person and you do things for the good, then I think you'll be all right. Now, does that mean your life's going to be perfect? No. Does that mean your life's going to be easy? No. Does it mean your life is always going to be fair? No. But treating people the way that you would like to be treated, being kind to others. There's a lot of times in your life where you have to bite your tongue. And you have to find a way to be respectful, but also be clear. And my annoying moment of the week this week is not in the decision I had to make, because it was easy and it was swift. But it was in the reality that someone not only disrespected me in the past, but continued to disrespect me in the present. And the irony of it is they never did their job. They question, they try to make you feel below them, they push you down, or they attempt to push you down. They make like they're better than you, when in reality, you don't even know what they can do or can't do and what they're capable of, because they don't do the job that they talk about. People can talk a big game, but can they walk in that world? Can they walk in that atmosphere? Can they breathe in that atmosphere? Because if I know anything, I know there's a lot of people out there that say things, but it doesn't mean there's a lot of people out there that do things. It is, think about it. You could sit on your couch in your underwear with no shirt on and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. You could say whatever you want to say, but are you actually doing it? How many times did you say, I'm going to donate to charity? I think I should donate to charity. How many times did you say, you know what? I really have to, I want to put some flowers in. I want to put some flowers in. I want to make it look nice. I want to put some flowers in. Right? Or I'm going to take that trip. I'm going to go on that trip. I'm going to go to Hawaii. I'm going to go. How many times have you said it? And did you do it yet? Right? If you say you're going to do something, then do it. And if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, and you disrespect people, that's a double whammy right there. And I dealt with that this week. Someone who had absolutely no respect for me, and at the same time wasn't doing their job, but then trying to pretend like they're better at everything they do in life than you are. Yet, they've never done one thing that they were supposed to do. So, I would say to the people that think you're getting away with murder, it will catch up with you. And I will say to the people, so you should change now before it does, so that you can right your ship. And then I would say to the people that feel disrespected, like I did this week, to never feel like, my dad said something to me and it hit me. He goes, Daniel, this isn't winning or losing. He's like, you won. Like, you did win. You won. And let me rephrase. This is what he said. He said, Daniel, you won this. You won. You won. Because you stuck up for yourself. You wouldn't take somebody's you-know-what. He's like, you won. I said, yeah, but I feel like they're going to think they won. And he said, who cares? He said, you need to stop caring about what other people think and how they view things. You know what you did. You know why you did it. It doesn't matter if they think they won or not. You know what it did in your life. You know where you're at. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they are seeing they got. Because you know the truth. You know why you did it. And I took care of myself. I took care of my health and my well-being. So he said, they're going to think whatever they want to think. He said, you need to stop caring what other people think. You need to think about what you think, what you believe, what you know. You need to hold on to that. You know what happened. Now move forward. And I value my dad because and I value my mom because they're very honest with me. And I love that. Greg saying, speak to me, DT. Put the excuses aside. Take action on your words and promises. I would say that to Facebook. You're supposed to be a place for all of us. You're supposed to promote businesses and allow us the opportunity to grow and expand. But if we don't pay you for ads, you find ways to mess with us. Facebook gave us a live feed, and I appreciate that, and I will always appreciate that. But they have manipulated, distorted, and made this thing not work constantly over the years. It's fine for 6 months, then it's not. Today, we were ready to go, 9 a.m. in the studio. The only reason why we didn't go on time is because Facebook's live feed was glitching or not doing what it was supposed to do. Don't say you're something that you're not. People will always find that out. Well, Dan, perception over reality. Perception over reality. If somebody believes you're something, no. You read between the lines. I'm the type of person where I can pretty much tell when I'm somewhere who somebody is, sometimes in the first couple minutes, just by listening to them and seeing how they talk about themselves. Anybody who tells you that they're amazing doesn't really think that they're amazing. Something inside of them is broken, and they're trying to make up for it. I had a woman say to me, she goes, I'm on a dating app. Why do so many men start their dating app profile with, I'm an alpha male? I said, because they're not. They're a beta. I've never heard an alpha male, a strong man, run around telling people how strong they are. I've heard people defend themselves when people don't think they're strong, or when people maybe question whether or not they are strong. But I can say maybe once or twice my entire life, I said, I'm also an alpha male. And it was when I was in a house with someone who thought he was an alpha male, and he was bullying the other two people in the house, me being one of them. And I met him in the kitchen, and I said, the beta in the house follows you around. And I feel sad for him, and I hope that he'll be an alpha one day. But I'm not a beta. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do, and I'm most certainly not going to kiss your behind. So you and I are going to either have a relationship where you understand that I got mine and you got yours, because, and that's when I said to him, I go, your problem is you got an alpha. Looking at an alpha. I'm not going to be your follower. I'm going to follow Christ, period. Exclamation point. No question mark, and I'm not following anybody else. I'm following God. That's it. So, to me, it comes down to, like we were talking about this morning, be who you are and understand that what you say and what you do will eventually catch up with you. So if you're saying and doing good things, you have nothing to worry about. Because if that catches up with you, that's a blessing, catching up with you. But if you do bad things, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, if you lie to people, if you cheat, if you steal, if you disrespect, if you treat people like they're below you, if you try to get people to not work with you or not date you, if you push away good people, that will also find you. Probably alone. You can think you're pretty, you're smart, you're handsome, you're funny, you're this, you're that, whatever. You can think those things. I want people to, say, hey, I'm pretty, I'm smart, I'm handsome, I'm funny. I want you to have that self-confidence. But how you treat people with that self-confidence or without that how you treat people, that comes back. That eventually finds you. And yesterday, I had to take something that I look forward to doing and say, you know what? I'm not going to do this way because I refuse to work with someone who talks to me like they're at the top of the mountain and they're staring down at an ant a million miles away. There's no amount of money, no amount of anything that I will take for somebody to tell me I'm better than you and I'm going to make your life hell if you work with me. Absolutely not. So, folks, do not sacrifice who you are and your peace and your love for yourself and your joy in life for money, for a car, for a house, for, oh, well, they're attractive, but they beat me. No. There's nothing in life that is ever going to make evil beautiful. Lipstick on a pig, right? I don't even want to say lipstick on a pig because then that makes it sound like pigs are evil, and I love pigs. So let me take that back. Retract it from the record. You can't take... Okay, how about this? How about this? If you had a bed of thorns and you put a towel over it and drew a rose on it, it doesn't make it a rose. It makes it a bed of thorns with a rose drawn on a towel over it. There's something masking it, right? The facade is that you see the rose. But the reality is, if you look underneath it, there's a whole bunch of thorns. Sometimes you got to do your due diligence to look underneath the hood, to look underneath the veil, to look underneath that towel, to see that, yeah, it looks like a rose, but it's just a bed of thorns. And sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes people have so many walls up that you see the thorn written on the veil. But underneath it, it's a bunch of beautiful roses. We cannot simply judge. Number one, we shouldn't judge at all. But you cannot simply make an assumption based on a facade. Because the things that are pretty, beautiful, shiny, it's not exactly always what they truly are. It's what they show people. And it would behoove us all to learn, to seek to understand, to do a little bit more digging before we truly know what we're dealing with. Because yesterday, 2 people pushed away me from trying to do a good thing to help them. And they may not care about it today, but eventually, the ripple effect, I believe, of pushing away someone who is working to be a good man and do good things, that eventually will find you back when you start working with like-minded people like them. When you start working with people that are just about the bottom line, that don't care about how they treat people. Then that eventually gets into your business. Then that becomes what people think of you. Now, all of a sudden, people aren't having fun at work. I am not perfect. None of us are. But I know when I have a good thing. I know when I create something. And I know what I bring to the table is different than anybody else. And when you tell me that I'm not worthy of you, and I decide to go, you know what, I'm not going to take that, and I walk out the door, not because I'm quitting, not because I don't care, not because it doesn't matter to me, but when I say, you know what, it's not worth my peace, I'm not going to sit here and get disrespected and be told that I'm worthless. When I walk out that door, I will never walk back in that door as another human being. Whatever you get after me, good luck. Maybe it's better, maybe it's not, but it's never going to be me. And you need to start understanding that in your life. Stop thinking that the way people treat you is how you should treat yourself. That when they put you down, you should put yourself down. And stop feeling like whatever somebody tells you is Bible. Because not everybody's out for your best interest, and not everybody cares about your feelings. So be good to yourself and take care of yourself. And don't let somebody else's perception of you or belief of you or how they treat you define how you treat yourself. Because if you treated yourself like how anybody else treated you, well, now you've opened yourself to a world of whatever they do and however they do it. People change. God doesn't. Remember that. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Speaking on the topic, what is leadership? Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. This has been the Annoying Moment of the Week. Proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Don't let the cold weather fool you. I know it snowed a little bit this morning. Go and get yourself some Carvel, because it tastes good every day. And I bet you it's your sunshine when you're watching snow and dreariness outside. That Carvel, that taste, that creates a little sun in here, a little brightening up your day in there. So let Carvel DeWitt brighten up your days, no matter what the day looks like outside. We'll take a step aside inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. We'll be back right after this.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Cafe Cabal offers .com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of Cafe Cabal Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of these Cafe Cabal Studios, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, as well as by finding us on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners. That is also Cafe Cabal in North Syracuse, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So head out there to any one of their locations today, fill your cup up right, and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you their way. With that being said here, it's time to get into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver inside of MonPosPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Lead. Today's discussion in our acronym of Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, is What is leadership? So, this is fun for me because lead is the title of our segment every week. And now we get to talk about what is leadership. So, leadership, folks, if you're wondering, in our dictionary, leadership is defined as such: the action of leading a group of people or an organization, the state or position of being a leader. So, what does it mean to lead then? Because if leadership just has lead in the definition, what is the definition of leading? Cause to go with one by holding them by the hand, a halter, a rope, while moving forward. That's literally to take someone and lead them. Be a route or means of access to a particular place or in a particular direction. The initiative in an action, an example for others to follow, a position of advantage in a contest, being in the lead. So this is what we have for lead, the many different ways that we can talk about leading. So, leadership, folks, how do you define it? What would you define it as? Now, again, the Oxford Dictionary, the action of leading a group of people or an organization. That's what we've gotten. Okay? Now, there's different types of leadership. Affiliative, leaders create emotional bonds and harmony. Democratic, leaders build consensus through participation. Pace setting, leaders expect excellence and self-direction. Coaching, leaders develop people for the future. So let's get into these, right? Affiliative leadership, leaders create emotional bonds and harmony. How many people wish that their leader did that? That their business owner did that? That maybe their parents did that, right? Leadership of the household. Leaders create emotional bonds and harmony. That's affiliative leadership. Emotional bonds and harmony. They connect with their people. They create emotional connections. It's not just this, give me what I want, right? Some leaders, it's all transactional. How much did you make me today, right? Restaurant owner looks in the till. How much did you make me, right? How many widgets did you sell? How many cars did you sell today, Bob? How many times you hear something like that? How many cars, Bob? 2 today, Bob? Really, Bob? And I'm just using Bob as an example. Emotional bonds and harmony. I look back on some of my bosses and I'm like, really? Emotional bonds and harmony? I know I know that I had a few bosses that weren't affiliative in leadership. Democratic leadership. Leaders build consensus through participation. Ooh, doesn't that sound not great, right? We're a democracy, but leaders build consensus through participation. That sounds purely transactional. Leaders in a democratic leadership, leaders build consensus through participation. They look at who's participating and they say, this is what it is. This is where we're going to go. We're going to go where the participation goes. We're going to do what the majority wants. This is the consensus because these are the people that participated. That sounds like there's a giant loophole here. What if the people that didn't participate are the actual majority? Democratic. Let's figure out how many people want to go in this direction, and then we'll go in that direction because that's where they want us to go. That sounds like easily swayed. Doesn't sound as good as affiliative to me. Pace-setting leadership. Leaders expect excellence and self-direction. How about this? A leader who expects excellence from you, but is hands-off in the sense of they believe that you need to direct yourself. They're not micromanaging you. That's what I take from pace-setting leadership. They expect excellence from you, but they also expect self-direction, right? Responsibility, that you know what you're doing, that you're going to go out and do it, that they don't have to babysit you for you to get the job done. They expect you to put in the work. How about that when it comes to leadership? If you're just tuning in, we're doing Lead, which we do every Friday right around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. A signature segment proudly presented exclusively on Wake Up Call. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today we're talking about what is leadership. What it is. And we're talking about the different types of leadership. Did you know that there was these 4 types to talk about? Affiliative, democratic, pace setting, which we were just talking about. Leaders expect excellence and self-direction. They expect you to be at the top of your game, but they're not micromanaging you, and they're believing that you have personal responsibility, that you have to get up and go. They're not going to be there to light the fire under your butt every single second. They expect you to have self-direction. They hire you, they expect excellence, and at the same time, they want you to get up and go. I like that. Coaching leadership. Leaders develop people for the future. How about that? Leaders develop people for the future. They don't just look at the here and now. How can you make me rich? How can you get me what I want? They develop you for the future. A good coach, and I like this, the coaching leadership definition that I have here today. Leaders who develop people for the future. I know some really good coaches because they're developing people for the future. It's not just, I want to win games right now. It is developing men and women to be able to be good mothers, husbands, wives, fathers, children, friends, workers of the future, not just the now. Because some coaches are not even using coaching leadership, this style of leadership, right? They might be using pace setting. They expect excellence and self-direction, but they're not necessarily building you for the future. Are they building you for the future? Is a coach saying, I want to win right now. I got you for 4 years. I know institutions that care about right now, right? As long as you are within these walls and you can make us money, we want you to succeed. Once you leave, you might not even get tickets to come to the game. The difference between coaching and coaching leadership. Because coaching leadership's definition is developing people for the future. So if you're a coach and you're looking, and I'm not saying looking ahead, I'm not saying forget about this game. I'm saying if you're a coach that's saying, I just want these players to win me games for the 1 to 4 years during college, 5 years during college. I just want them to win me games, make me money, get me successful, get me out of this place so I go get another job somewhere else. If that's how a coach thinks, that then they're not using coaching leadership. Because coaching leadership is that they are saying, yeah, we want to win right now. I want to win today. I want to get a championship. But 20 years from now, I want this person to be successful. I want them to come back and say, Coach, thank you for what you taught me in school. Because it made me a better person. Thank you, Coach, for what you did for me in the NFL. Because now I know as a business owner the things that I need to do. Good morning to my mom. Talking about the different forms of leadership. Affiliative. Leaders in the affiliative form of leadership, leaders create emotional bonds and harmony. Ma, you're listening right now. You've had some bosses that didn't create emotional bonds and harmony, and you've had some that have. Democratic leadership. Leaders build consensus through participation. That sounds so disconnected. It sounds not emotional. Leaders build consensus through participation. All these people, of the 50 people that participated, 35 of them think that grilled cheese is the best thing, so the consensus is we're going to make grilled cheese, and we don't care about the rest of the people that participated in this thing. The 15 people that don't like grilled cheese, they might be allergic to dairy. They might be lactose intolerant. Doesn't matter. Consensus through participation. That makes democracy sound horrible, by the way. And then we look at, so we got to change that up. Pace setting, leaders expect excellence and self-direction. And coaching, leaders develop people for the future. I think a really good coach, I think a really good leader, I think a really good boss, I think a really good mate to be with for the rest of your life takes pieces. That they're a leader that has that creates emotional bonds and harmony, expects excellence, but also self-direction, and hopes that you have personal responsibility, and then when they give you a task that you'll do it, they won't micromanage you, and they develop you for the future. That's what I look at. Now, I'm not here to attack democracy today. I'm reading the definition of a democratic leader, and I'm saying, look at our democracy today. People, look at our democracy today. The President of the United States does whatever the majority of the people want them to do. 10 years ago, the majority didn't want what they want today, but what they want today, they'll do it. Think about that. Think about that. That's not what democracy should be. Democracy should be leading to, what does it say? How does the Constitution start? We the people. Us. We the people. There's more of us than there are leaders in our democracy. There's more of us. If we don't agree with what they're doing, there's more of us. To peacefully find a way to say, you're not representing me anymore. Because you don't represent me at all. Right? Think about leadership in this country. They do whatever the fad is. And as long as they can get voted in, they will do whatever, say whatever it takes to get you to like them so you'll vote for them. If we woke up tomorrow morning and the majority of people cared about turtles and there was a hashtag Turtles Lives Matter, the president would talk about turtles because the president wants to get reelected and there's more turtle people than there aren't turtle people. It's not democracy. It shouldn't be. We should be called, democracy shouldn't simply be building consensus through participation. I want my president to build emotional bonds and harmony. I want my president to expect excellence and self-direction. I want our president, our leader, the boss. I want the person that I spend the rest of my life with to expect our kids to have self-direction. We can teach them, but I don't want to baby them. Eventually, they have to learn life on their own, and I want to prepare them for the future. If I am a father, I am creating emotional bonds with my kids in harmony. I am expecting great things of them and wanting them to learn on their own some things. Because if I baby them, they won't learn life. We started the week with Tammy Reese saying, let your kids fail. Let your kids go through stuff. Don't send your kids to me having gone through nothing, having you babied them and spoon-fed them their whole life, because when I get them, I'm not going to want to deal with that. A kid who thinks they're never wrong, that they've never done anything wrong, that they are perfect. That kid is going to be a virus to a team, to a family, to a friend group, to anywhere they go, if they have never, ever known what it felt like to go through adversity and come out the other side and prepare you for the future. That's what I would do for my kids. Leadership is a lot of things. It's communication. It's knowing your people, knowing yourself, diplomacy, and seeking out feedback. Right? Communicating, which some people miraculously do horrifically in today's world. Communicating, knowing your people, knowing who you are, seeking out feedback. That's a part of leadership that a lot of people don't want to do, right? I don't want to know what people think of me. But you have to seek out feedback. And diplomacy, which is the profession, activity, or skill of managing international relations, typically by a country's representatives, or the act of dealing with people in a sensitive and effective way. Diplomacy, I'm going to say it to you again. And for those of you who are waiting for Clay Gagen-Sherman, he'll be up in a second here. Diplomacy, the art of dealing with people in a sensitive and effective way. Think about diplomacy in today's world, in today's America. Are we doing that? Are we dealing with people in a sensitive and effective way? I don't think so. And this was not for any politics today. This is me to say to you folks, we are talking about leadership on Wake Up Call. We're talking about leadership, and I'm supposed to be a wake-up call. I can't be a member of the media that's supposed to bring you information every week and pretend like I don't see things, right? Do you think in today's America we are dealing with people in a sensitive and effective way? I don't think so. I think we're telling people what to do, telling them to get on board with whatever's important at that time. And I don't think we're being effective at all. A sensitive and effective way. If our country was sensitive and effective, We would stop grouping people, stop telling people what they need to believe in, stop telling people what religion they have to be, stop telling people what sex and sexual orientation and color and this and that. We would just take people as they are, be sensitive to where they come from, who they are, and what they're about, and be effective with them. You have to listen to people. I can't sit here and say, I know everything about the African American community, and then speak to nobody that's African American. I can't sit here today and say, I know the difference between gay and straight. Yeah, by definition, it's easy. Okay, this person likes this person likes that. But do you really know the story of why this person is who they are, why they're about who they're about? I have a friend who came to this country from Africa. Okay? So already, are people going to accept me? Are people going to like me? I talk different. And then they come out and they tell me their sexual orientation. So, Dan, I'm gay. So I'm gay, and I'm here, and I'm new to this. I have people that are very close to me that have said, Dan, I'm adopted, I'm a minority, and I'm gay. The world doesn't like me. So if he feels that way, we're not dealing it with a diplomatic world. We are not dealing with people effectively and sensitively if that's how he feels. How you treat people. What did I say in the annoying moment of the week? How you treat people comes back to you. Leadership is all of these. I learned something today. There's things I read you today I didn't know. Because I want to learn with you. I'm not talking at you. I'm not talking over you. I'm talking with you. I want to learn. I never knew the definition of diplomacy was dealing with people in a sensitive and effective way. But I can tell you that now I know that definition, I'm going to call a lot of people out on not being diplomatic. Because do I think people deal with me in a sensitive and effective way? Not yesterday. Do I think people deal with me in a sensitive and effective way? That I believe in God? Better when I was a kid than as an adult. Now I tell people I believe in God, and some people act like I just spit in their oatmeal. So I would tell you something in closing for this segment. If you want to achieve peace in your life, and you want to be a good leader, and you want to create meaningful, strong bonds that cannot be broken, then you need to start being sensitive to who people are, open to differences in thought, and willing to work to find a common goal. Because I can tell you that a lot of us adults in today's America need to go back to grammar school and high school and pick a number out of a hat like we did, or stand in a line and have the teacher say A, B, C, A, B, C. Okay, all the A's over here, the B's over here, the C's over here. And what was that? You had to work on a project with people that you probably never talked to. People in your class that you didn't even know, that you might have gone to school with for 4 years and never had a conversation with, but now you have to. Some of us have to go back to high school and grammar school and have a teacher say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My ones are going to work together, my twos, my threes, and my fours. Uh-oh, I stood next to my best friend. I didn't know this. I stood next to them. I'm a 1, they're a 2. Now we're not working together. Who am I going to talk to? I'm going to have to figure it out. Wouldn't America be awesome if we did that test? Wouldn't America be awesome if we lined up everybody in Congress, the president, the vice president, the judges, if we lined everybody up and we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Y'all gotta work. My ones gotta work together. My twos, my threes, my four. Uh-oh. Democrats, Republicans, independents, people that are this color, this sexual orientation, this religion, that religion. Uh-oh, they gotta work together. Grammar school and high school taught us how to be adults, and a lot of us forgot. There's no diplomacy if you're not dealing with people in a sensitive and effective way. Do you think that everybody I deal with every single day in my life agrees with me? Do you know how many people are in my phone? Do you know how many people that I know? I'm not bragging, but do you understand how many people that I know? To know the people that I know, the amount of people that I know, there is no way, this is my point, there is no way that I am just like them. Because there's so many, we're all different. And I don't believe you can really live a life where you can truly know who you are without exposing yourself to what you're not. To seeing that. You know, I've never been drunk. It's a personal choice. There's no deep, dark story. I've just never done it. But I've seen that world. I didn't want to do it. I saw the world and I really didn't want to do it. Some people see the world and they want to do it, right? But you have to let your... They talk about it all the time. The kids that are sheltered and then all of a sudden they're not sheltered and they go ballistic. They go nuts. They're doing like every kind of drug. They're all over the place because they've been held in this little thing. You have to let people see the world. You have to see the world. Okay? And I'm not saying you have to move. I'm not saying you have to... But you have to allow yourself to see the world. Even in your little tiny neighborhood, your little tiny town. There's only 455 people here, Dan. I know everybody. But not everybody's going to be like you. And you have to be willing to learn. Leadership is about learning. It's about evolving. It's about ad-libbing. And it's about delivering. That is why the segment is called Lead, to bring it all the way back full circle. If you are a leader who is not learning every day, you're not a leader. If you're a leader who's not evolving, you're not a leader. That doesn't mean changing your beliefs. It means evolving, right? Evolving. Because things change, right? You got to evolve as a leader if you're leading a community in Kentucky and then all of a sudden they're hit by a hurricane and okay, let me put it to you like this. If you're leading Massachusetts and they're hit by a hurricane, because it's not typical, right? It's atypical. If that happens and you're the governor, now you have to evolve because you've never dealt with this problem before. You can't deal with this problem the same way you deal with the sidewalk not being paved. Hello? So, I mean, you have to be different. You have to ad-lib as a leader. Any good leader will tell you that there's no way to be a leader 24/7 without knowing that things are not always going to work out, and you have to be able to adjust. You have to ad-lib on the fly and delivering on your promises. How many leaders can talk the walk, talk it, I'm going to walk it out, Dan, but they don't walk. Many people who consider themselves leaders and are in leadership positions do not deliver on their promises. Many of them. Many of them. Just because you have a title doesn't make you a good leader. Just because you have people that work under you doesn't make you a good leader. Just because you can tell people what to do and not feel like there's any type of repercussion doesn't make you a good leader. A good leader builds through diplomacy, sensitive and effective. Knows how to deal with people. Opens their mind. Leadership is not, I make more money than you. Leadership is not, I have a higher title than you. My office is bigger than yours. I'm the one in the household that makes the most money, honey. That's not leadership. Leadership is dealing with people in a sensitive and effective way. It's creating emotional bonds and harmony. It's building people for the future. It's expecting excellence and self-direction. That's what leadership is, folks. So if you've been leading any other kind of way or following a leader any other kind of way, you're not doing it right. So to my people out there that are leading, remember what it means to do so. It's not just a word and it's not just a title. It's a lifestyle. And there's consequences to how you lead, if you lead and when you lead. And a true leader understands you never stop leading. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back with Clay Gagen-Sherman here as we celebrate the Bryant Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse as our top dogs of the week, making history once again.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cabal studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, hanging out with us and Cafe Cabal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse. You can also find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-through location. And you can find them by going to 343 Fayette Street, Manlius, New York. You see my Salt City shirt, folks, and if you see my Salt Cities, my 315s, my Upstates, all of those are courtesy of the fantastic people at Witty Wicks, 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. I rock these because I love my hometown, I love my community, and I have always worn it on my chest, and now I get to literally do it because Witty Wicks does a lot of great things in our community to work with local people and to support local products. So thank you to Witty Wicks for all that you do to help me show my love for Central and Upstate New York all over the world. And you can do the same, 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. With that being said, it is time for the top dog of the week. And I appreciate your patience here as we were talking about leadership this morning. Top dog of the week, thanks to Lily, is proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Our top dogs of the week going to the Cats, which is kind of cool. Top dogs of the week going to the Bobcats of Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. The men's basketball team continues to make history, setting a new record for wins in a single season with 12. Now they're up to 15 with the opportunity of more to come. So joining me to represent this team that we're honoring as our top dogs of the week this week, Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse's men's basketball team, we are here with their head coach who helped them to make the history that we're in right now. 15 wins, the most ever in a single season for Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse. And to put it in perspective, when you think about Syracuse, oh, Dan, they play 31 games. They don't play, obviously, as many games here. And so with that being said, when you get 15 in a season, you're talking about single-digit losses and you're talking about heading toward 20 wins. So a lot of great things to talk about with Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse on a record-setting season in Clay Gagen-Sherman's first ever season at the helm of the men's basketball team. So I think the first season's going pretty good. We're going to talk with Clay about it. Sir, how you doing today?
Good morning, Dan. I'm doing well. Doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And to know that this is your first season, this is the jump off, bring me into having this moment, you know, being with this team. And obviously you're growing, you're learning, you're evolving as a team. You're doing a lot of these leadership pieces. We'll talk about that in a second. But for you to already have a record-setting season, a season that is going to change the books at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, what does that mean to you to be living within that right now?
It's been a special year for sure. We have a great team, and, you know, like, a lot of our upperclassmen that are returners have been major contributors to the program this season. And, you know, we knew with the recruiting class we had coming in and the returners that were coming back to the program that we were going to have a very good team. Just our biggest challenge was going to be growing together and just figuring out new roles and things like that. And we've done a really good job, you know, just putting the team first and in front of the individual. And, you know, we're figuring it out. It's not perfect yet. We're still working on finding our consistency as a team, but we're finding ways to win, which is, you know, obviously it's a lot of fun, and it's a great group of guys that have been a pleasure to coach.
You know, and for you, like you said, you know, finding those ways to gel together, to work together, to find – how quickly do you feel like this team came together from the beginning of the season to now? What has been the journey for Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse's men's basketball team?
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't say we came together quickly. You know, we had a big returning class and a big recruiting class and a new coach. So one of our biggest hurdle was just figuring out like the balance. And obviously you got returners coming back, expecting to have a similar role, if not a bigger role than they had the previous season, but also understanding that it's a new coach, so that could change drastically. And then you have returners that were recruited into a program to, you know, for a specific role. So, you know, it wasn't, you know, an overnight thing. It's been a gradual process, and every single game that we've played has asked for something different, which opened an opportunity for guys. And every single game that we played has, you know, guys are here and they want to win, and we got big goals to go to a national championship. So everyone's working hard and just staying ready for those opportunities when they do arise. And, you know, just for instance, one of our major key contributors, our best defensive player, Moses Hughes, has been out for a few games now. And obviously he's, you know, he does a lot for us on the defensive side of the ball, and him not playing really opened up a big opportunity for someone to step up and set the intensity up top of our zones and our presses. And, you know, Rayvon Burnett stepped up last game and really brought that to the game. But it's just about working hard, being ready for your opportunities, and, again, putting the team before the individual.
That coming here from Clay Gagen-Sherman, head coach of the Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse men's basketball team for the Bobcats. We were talking about leadership in the segment, which is LEAD, the acronym Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. I know that you were telling me off the air, you were listening into it. How would you define yourself as a leader?
I believe I'm a leader by example, first and foremost. Like you said, you never stop leading. You never know who's watching. Obviously, when you're with your team and you're trying to set the example of the expectation you're setting for them and the standards you're setting for them. But it's also kind of those unseen hours. You know, am I watching film on my own? Am I reflecting on how we need to improve? You know, just the little things. Am I using manners when we're out? You know, things of that nature. Just leading never stops, just like you said. And I think I do. You know, I pride myself on leading by example. And again, it's constantly growing, constantly getting better, self-reflecting on areas to improve.
Yeah, you know, and like you said, and like we talked about, you're always leading. You're always in that place. You know, it should become a part of you. It's not. Leadership is not a shirt that you take off at the end of the day and throw in the hamper. Leadership is something that it's you. It should be your skin. And you think about it, we have 7 layers. So if you get cut, you still got to be a leader. If some of those layers go away, if they're scratched away, etched away, you know, if you fall on the ground, if whatever happens, and they're skimmed away, you still have leadership underneath that leadership. So when you treat leadership like your skin and not your shirt, then you realize it is always a part of you. You are always a part of it, and it has to be in your life. And I tell people that, you know, Dan, well, you know, I'm just a peon at my job. I'm not a coach. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not a father or mother yet. And I would say to you, you could still be a leader. You are a leader of your life. Okay, and what do they say? If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. So it's easy to be a follower. It's easy to walk off a cliff. It's easy to just go wherever somebody wants you to go. But when you know who you are, I consider those people leaders, because knowing who you are and knowing how to effectively get your message out, what did they say leadership is? Communication, knowing others, knowing your people, knowing yourself, seeking to hear what other people have to say, and being diplomatic. So when you think about it, do you have to be in a leadership role to know yourself? No. Do you have to be in a leadership role to know the people around you? No. To communicate well? No. To deal with people in a sensitive and effective way? No. And to seek out and to get information on how you're doing, how you're treating people? No. You don't have to be a boss of anything to do any of those things in your life. And if you're doing none of them or some of them, you're not really leading a good life. You know, I said it, Clay, it's not easy to go to your team, to go to anybody and say, hey, as a coach, what do you have for me? What are your notes for me? A really good coach is going to talk to their players and say, how can I get better? But most people are terrified of hearing what anybody has to say, because when you sit in the big chair, people think I'm in the big chair, so I get to judge you and I get to tell you what to do, but I'm in the big chair. You can't touch the big chair. The big chair is my safe zone. I can't get tagged in the big chair. Everybody else is playing tag, but I can't freeze if I'm in the big chair. How do you get out of the big chair as a coach? And do you take the time to talk with your team and say, how am I doing as your leader?
Absolutely. I mean, it all falls back to self-awareness, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I say to my guys pretty often, you know, I'm not Jim Boeheim. I'm not, you know, Coach K. You know, I'm still a young coach, and obviously, you know, I think I do a lot of things well, but I know I have to get better every single day. I have to improve massively to get to where I want to be as a coach and as a leader someday. So I definitely ask for feedback from my guys, like, what do we think's working? You know, obviously, especially our leaders within the team, I ask, you know, what do we think went well in this game? Where do we think we need to improve? How do you think timeouts were? How do you think communication was? But, you know, it's important to get that perspective and that feedback from your players, because they're part of it. The best teams are the player-led teams. So, you know, you want to know what they're thinking. And again, they have some great perspectives that help the team improve. So it falls back to self-awareness and leaving yourself open to that feedback. And again, you know, part of that self-awareness is not being insecure to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong as long as you understand that could happen, and you're open to changing that area.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's the best. You know, in my line of work, I think it's the best when a coach comes to me and says, Dan, yeah, my guy held on the last play, or my guy committed this foul, or whatever. But, you know, let's go to basketball for a second. A coach to come over to me and say, yeah, we lost by 3. We missed 5 free throws. But you know what? When there was 3 minutes left in the first half, I should have called a timeout. They were making a run, and I didn't. And I felt like my guys needed to kind of snap back into action, and I didn't take the timeout. And I feel like if I had taken that timeout, that we could have talked about some things, we could have regrouped, and we could have been okay. I love when that happens. I said it earlier this week in the show. I said, I love being wrong. And people go, what? And I said, listen, because if I'm wrong, it doesn't mean that I seek out to be wrong. But if I am wrong about something, that means I get to learn. That means I get to understand something new. If I'm wrong, then, you know, and there's people listen to the show, watch the show, and they'll write into me, oh, Dan, you know, this isn't what happened, or this guy got traded. Thank you. You know what? That taught me to get up 5 minutes before and to make sure that I check this. It taught me to, you know, 5 minutes earlier or whatever, to go online and to seek something out. There's people that have been there and don't even know that, like, thanks to those people, now I'm going to check this. Now I'm going to look into this more. Now I've learned that, you know, I need to, by the second, look at some of these things. If you aren't wrong ever, or you don't believe you're wrong ever, you don't learn anything. And I love to learn. So when I'm wrong, I mean, listen, you know, I joke about it. And we have a connection beyond basketball. You know, I dated a lot of crazy women. You can laugh about it. It's true. But at the same time, Clay, he's so quiet about it. Laugh about it, Clay. It's fine. So, but the reality is, I've dated a lot of crazy people. But you know what? Sometimes I was crazy. Sometimes not crazy, but sometimes I wasn't my best self, is what I mean by that. So even though they were crazy, even though things happen, even though they made mistakes, I made mistakes too. I'm so happy I'm not married to the person I was married to. But you know what I learned? I worked to a point where I wasn't present. I was trying so hard to build something so special that could last a lifetime that I didn't sit down with my wife and eat dinner with her. And so I learned, was I married to the right person? No. But if I don't learn to sit down and eat dinner, then when I do marry the right person, now I'm in trouble. So I think that even in situations, even in the middle of a hurricane, you still have to say to yourself, the hurricane's not good, but how can I get better? And I tell people this all the time. If you leave a relationship where there's a bad boss, or you leave a friendship that's not healthy, or you get out of a relationship like I did, which wasn't going to be fruitful in my life, it doesn't mean that just because that was bad, that you're perfect. And I feel like we have to learn from those things, because if I didn't learn how to be a more present man, then when the right thing comes along, I'm going to make mistakes with the right people. And some people think, hey, if you make mistakes with the wrong people, it's fine. It's not. When you make mistakes with the wrong people, consider yourself blessed, because you have an opportunity to learn a lesson before you lose something greater than what you had. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, I forget which coach it was, but they won, like, they set a record for a certain amount of wins, and they just mentioned, like, honestly, like, I can't remember, you know, the top wins, but I can tell you about the top losses, because it's when you're defeated that, you know, you really have to self-reflect and think about those things, and you know, those are the ones that really cut you, and if you're someone that responds the right way, it's not always about the decision, it's about the response. That you're going to really come forward as a person and take that next step to being better. So, you know, I'm really big on that. It's okay to be wrong, but when you're wrong, how do you respond to that? When you make a mistake, how do you respond to that? Do you get better, or do you continue to make those mistakes?
Yeah, you know, and there's times in my life where I could say I made the mistake repeatedly, and there are times in my life where I said, okay, I can't do this anymore. And so you have to understand those things. I know as a player, I say this all the time, I've always been able to shoot. God gave me that. I worked on it. I honed that skill. But I didn't like running as a kid. I couldn't stand running. I look back on my life and I say, if I ran more, if I built up my endurance, if I did more cardio, if I lifted more and ran more, because I knew the game and I knew how to shoot, and I had talent to shoot anywhere, and I still do. But if I had done more with my physical preparedness for the game, I feel like I could have gotten more looks, probably D3 or JUCO, whatever, and I probably could have made myself on a team, and I probably could have gotten myself on the court, because back in the day, I didn't like to run. And it's not like I was some obese kid or anything like that. I just didn't enjoy running. So now I see the value in running and walking and the peacefulness and the healthy mind, healthy body, healthy mind approach. But Clay, I'm happy to come here this morning. I'm not regretful. Oh my God, well, what would my life have been? My life is what it's supposed to be. But I will tell you this, if I'm on a basketball court like I was after your game a few days ago, if I'm shooting and at any point I'm winded walking around with a basketball, then you know what my head's saying? You need to run tomorrow. That's how I see it now. So you have to learn while you grow.
Absolutely. You definitely got that jump shot, man. That half-court shot, it's still there, for sure.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. See, Clay is my proof of the most recent one, because we didn't get it on camera. So, Clay, final...
One for one.
One for one.
I think the bet was that you guaranteed you'd get 1 out of 5, and the first shot you sank it, nothing but net.
Yeah, and you were there right under the basket. I said, I believe that I will make, if I take a half-court shot, I believe I'll make 1 out of 5. And I made my first one, and you walked up to me with the basketball, and you're like, are you serious? And then you said 1-1, right? And I was like, yeah. And I left the gym after. I'm like, I'm not doing anything else. I'm going home now. So
yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So, Clay, are you saying on international radio and TV that you are the witness to the fact that I was 1 of 1 from half court?
I'm saying that, man. I'm signing the dotted line. Like, it happened.
So, final note here, Clay. Why should people come out? I know you got a game over the weekend here, doubleheader for Bryant Stratton of Syracuse. So, why should they come? I know, there's Syracuse Duke, and everybody goes crazy over that. But why should they pop in here, see what's going on at the Boys and Girls Club on here in Syracuse, New York? Why should they come out to 201 Hamilton Street and see your team play on senior night?
Well, first of all, senior night, we have one of the best seniors in the country in Josu Oresti. He's been absolutely dominant the entire season. He's been one of our major guys that's been super consistent. He just had 21 and 11 the other night against Albany, who we beat by 3 in an extremely close game on Wednesday, and now they're coming back to our place on Saturday. So, we basically won the first half in our eyes. Now we have the second half at our home court advantage. But definitely to watch the big dog go to work. Josu has been a monster all season. He's 6'8", 260. He really worked on his body in the off season and made sure he was ready to go out on top in his senior year. But definitely just an exciting player to watch. Is someone that, if you're in the Syracuse area, he's again, we're not the Syracuse Orange, but we definitely play an exciting brand of basketball, and we got some great players, and he's definitely one of them. But it's going to be a great rematch from the other night. It'll be an opportunity for us to win 4 in a row and, close out our home court for the season as we hope to get ready for nationals this upcoming March.
I can't believe it's already here, but we are close.
Fast,
we're close to the postseason. And the Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse men's basketball team, led by Clay Gagen-Sherman, is having their best regular season ever. Go and see the continuation of that this Saturday, 6 o'clock, at 201 Hamilton Street, Boys and Girls Club. That's where Bryant Stratton plays their home games. And at 4 o'clock, right before, Tay Baker and the women's team will tip off as well. So go and support your Bobcats. Love them up and appreciate them. And I appreciate so very much the connection that I have with them and the connection, of course, that I have with Clay here, not only as somebody in the sports world, but before everything else that years ago became a friend. So thank you, Mr. Gagen-Sherman, for all that you do. I appreciate you tremendously and your friendship more than anything. So shout out to Kate, Cleo, the whole family. One of my wonderful supporters that I never would have met if not for you, Mr. Kevin Gagen, and the family. So a big shout out to the Shermans, the Gagens, and to that little one, Cleo, who made me a very happy person when she stopped walking on the court, turned and looked at me, only me, smiled, and waved. And I said, all right, you know what? That was better than my half-court shot. So big shout out to Cleo and to the family, and thank you, Clay, for everything.
Thanks, Dan. As always, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you for everything.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
See you. That coming from Clay Gagen-Sherman here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, folks. We're going to have some fun right after this fast break. If we haven't had fun already, it's about to get more fun. Ruh-roh. What? You're about to have a better show than the show we've already had? Yes. These fantastic people and the topics that we get to talk about, I've been very blessed today to be sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in by the grace of God and have this conversation with you. Right after the break, 2 mics, no filter. Andrea and I do a special 2 mics, no filter called the Valentine's Hangover. Are you ready? I don't know if you are. Relationships, dating, Valentine's Day, fun, and a little bit of wisdom. Coming up right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets life. You do not want to miss this one. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100 and also 5100 for takeoutdelivery.com. That's MyAVICOLLIS.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York, open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of Cafe Kubal Studios. It is time for Two Mics, No Filter with Andrea Smith, myself, Dan Tortora, a.k.a. DT. And we are here in this Two Mics, No Filter that is so beautifully called the Valentine's Hangover. And that is because some of y'all had a real nice Valentine's Day, and some of y'all, if Valentine's Day was a person, would put them out in the driving range. So we'll talk about Valentine's Day. I'm very proud of myself, Andrea, and this is something that I didn't tell you. And Andrea and I talk a lot off the air, on the air, so there's always stories that we get to talk about. So I actually achieved something that I want to like it for. Okay. I said before Christmas, if I have it was right around Thanksgiving. I said, if I have a girlfriend now, or if I date somebody now that somehow is here for like Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, I am instituting, because of the amount of money that I have spent and the way I've been treated, I said, I'm instituting, just like a business has, the 90-day rule. And that 90-day rule is that you're under, kind of extra watch in those first 90 days. And in that 90-day rule, I said, because it's fallen in the 90 days, I will not buy a Christmas gift. I don't have to do anything for New Year's, and I will not buy a Valentine's Day gift. I want to shout out the fact that I went from before Christmas to Thanksgiving, or before Christmas to Valentine's Day, and spent $0, saved my money, went on a few dates here and there, but didn't have to spend a cent. So your co-host here.
Well, first of all, the first thought I had was that you're dating somebody seriously enough to put them on the 90-day rule. So that's news.
Which I wasn't.
Okay, you went on a couple dates. I got you. Yeah. Okay, good.
I'm just saying that
But you don't like anybody enough to be compelled to buy them a gift.
No, and what I told myself was, even if I did like them, there is a 90-day rule, and it's not going to happen. So I just realized that I was talking to my buddy. It was a couple days ago. It was Valentine's Day, and I went, I made it. So I'm very proud. I was like, I saved a lot of money. I'm going to buy myself something expensive for no reason. So
I did. I bought myself several things for Valentine's, for no reason, but I called it Valentine's.
Yeah.
For me, my husband doesn't believe in Valentine's Day. He calls it a made-up holiday. So if that tells you guys how my Valentine's was, it was Tuesday. I did cook something. I want to throw that out there. I have made a conscious effort that I'm going to start cooking at least one meal a week. So I started off this week and I did cook something. Thank you. But I did buy myself some flowers this week. I have a friend that does like florals, so I bought some flowers and I bought a bag. But I got it on sale, so it doesn't really count. But either way, we don't really do Valentine's. We do things for the kids, obviously. And my kids are so spoiled that, my son, like 2 days before Valentine's Day, all he said was, I wonder what you're going to get me for Valentine's Day. I wonder what Papa's going to get me for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, and then the next day he'd wake up first thing out of his mouth. I wonder what you're going to get me for Valentine's Day. I'm like, child, let's hope that you're nothing like your daddy when you get older. Because let me tell you something. If you like Valentine's Day this much, that is not what you're learning at this house.
Yeah. Well, I will say, so on Valentine's Day, I take care of 3. Mom, Dad, and my dog. So I got my dog a s'more plush that she loved. She has become more human than her already human self, that she's now learned to stand up on her legs and look around my body by coiling her head to try and figure out what was behind my back. Because I was like,
it is a cute dog. I can understand.
She's the best. And so, and I actually said this, it was on Valentine's Day. I'm broadcasting, and I said, I can't say what I bought Lily because I feel like she's somewhere in the studio office listening. I kid you not, I said that, the door opened, and she was standing in my studio looking at me, and I was like, case in point. She's always on time. Like, as soon as I said, I can't tell anybody, I think she's listening, you can hear the door open to the studio because there's something on the door, and she just looked right at me, and I was like, are you for real right now? I took care of her. Mom, I always get Mom flowers and candy. And I got my dad something, but I haven't seen my dad the last couple of days. So I came back to the house. He goes, are you home? And my dad never did stuff like this. My mom always picked up the stuff. And from what I knew, my dad goes, are you home? I was like, why? He's like, I'm not going to tell you. I went home. I was on the phone with my dad. I opened up my door, and there was a heart full of candy there from my dad.
Oh, that's nice.
So it was really sweet. And then my mom, that was very, very nice. So, and then my mom, being who she is, she goes, oh, your bag's in the car, because we went to dinner. She goes, your bag's in the car, honey. And I must have had sympathy pains for you because I had a very horrendous stomach on Tuesday. So I didn't even get to really eat that much on Valentine's Day. And so I was just sitting there, literally eating bread and water in the restaurant. I kid you not. And my mom goes, your bag's in the car. I go to the car. There's a card. And for my entire life, 37 years, here's a bag of candy. And when I tell you a bag of candy, there's like 47 pieces of candy in there of everything that my mom knows that I like, all thrown in there because she's like, I love you. And, you know, so I can say that my Valentine's Day has been consistent my whole life because my first two Valentines, Mom and Dad, always do something special to, you know, say, hey, we love you every day and you know that. But on Valentine's Day, we got you. So
yeah, my parents always did like a card at least or something for me too. Until like really recently, because now the kids, they do things for the kids instead. My parents always did too, but I will say that I will have been coming this April. It'll be 10 years. Have been married, and Josh has stayed steady, consistent with his hate of Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so. He can hate it, but that's not your fault. I would love to see, but also not love to see, me dating for a while, and they make it through the 90-day period, and then Valentine's Day comes, and I did nothing. I can only imagine, because all I've ever learned about women is when they say do nothing, it means do everything. So,
right. Yeah, like don't get me a snack at the store. You better get me a snack. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So I've just kind of learned that you don't come home with like a Gatorade or a Powerade or a Body Armor or a Reese's or a Twix. You never come home. Like if I bought myself a soda, if I got like a Coke Zero and I walked in the house and she told me for 2 hours, I don't want anything, I'm not hungry, I just want to go to bed. If I came home with a Reese's and a Coke Zero, she was like, really, Dan? And I'm like, what? You said you didn't want anything.
Yeah. You know, that actually happened recently to us. Josh and my kid, they, after like sports or something, they went to the gas station and they came home with all this stuff. And I'm like, wait, you went to the store and you didn't give me a protein bar after I've been here all day or whatever? Like, I don't remember the situation, but it was something where I was stuck at home. And he's like, oh man, I forgot. I was like, you forgot the only thing I ever get at every gas station we ever stop at. I don't know how you forgot that. But I will say, in Josh's defense, and he listens to our shows, so I want to throw this out there. In Josh's defense, and this is a subject we talked about a couple episodes ago. Hey, Josh. You know, being that I am so weird about the food stuff, and we tackled that in a different day. Yeah. In Josh's defense, sometimes he's concerned that if he brings something home, that I'll be upset, like, oh, I've already in my mind, have already eaten enough for the day. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So I do think that probably sometimes there's a little bit of struggle on how to keep me happy.
That's what I'm going to tell Josh. This is what I would do. If you are at a store, always buy Andrea something.
Yes.
If you want to make a joke about what you just heard on the show and you think she might have eaten her daily count today,
right.
And when you buy her the protein bar, put a sticky note on it that says tomorrow with a heart.
Yeah, good. There you go. See?
There you go. It works.
There you go. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. But yeah, that just happened to us too. That's so funny.
Yeah, you could steal that. But yeah, the thing is that I've definitely learned that. But I'm so happy. I don't know when the last Christmas, Valentine's Day, like that I didn't have to do anything. So
Right.
it's so nice. And people like, I'm taking myself to see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I got, I'm taking care of myself, getting some nice food for the house, got some sushi that I haven't gotten in a while.
Love.
Yeah. And I was like, listen, what did we say in the last show? You can always do what?
Buy yourself flowers.
And you bought yourself flowers.
I did.
You stood by it.
Very nice ones. Post
I would buy
on my Instagram.
I would buy myself flowers, but I am allergic to pollen. And buying my mom flowers and having them in the car for 15 minutes makes my entire, like, as soon as they're in the car, that's all my nose smells. It's like someone shoved pollen up my nose. It's like the flowers are in my nose.
Yeah.
So, like, it's always pretty, but whenever I would buy them for anybody, they're like, oh, what do you think about the flowers? They're so beautiful. I'm like, that's great. Put them in a room that we're not going to walk in. Right. And I'm not going to walk in.
Yeah.
Put them in some room. Put them in the closet. Put them upstairs in the.
I feel like most people are allergic to pollen. They just don't know it because it's so bad this year. Everybody's been sick. I feel like everybody's been sick. I feel like I'm developing allergy to animals.
Yeah, I've been sick on and off since August, and it's been so weird. But yeah, so I mean, with this being Two Mics No Filter, Valentine's Hangover. I want to know, did you ever have your worst Valentine? Well, I mean, now you don't have any Valentine, Josh, but have you had a worse, like a bad Valentine? Like we broke up on Valentine's Day. They fought with me on Valentine's Day. I got hit by a car on Valentine's Day. Like, do you have a Valentine's Day moment that just kind of hits different?
Not that I can remember off the top of my head.
Do you have a good one?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had good ones. I mean, I definitely, when you're young and you're young love and you get the big bouquet of like flowers and balloons and all that stuff, and they call your mom to get your address. Like, I definitely had those types of things happen. But I can't, I mean, before we had kids, I mean, we would go out to eat and do things like that,
Yeah.
So we did do stuff for Valentine's. We just, I will say, out of all the bad relationships stuff that I have had happen, I don't recall anything bad ever happening on Valentine's Day. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of my drama went down around birthdays or summer holidays.
Yeah, what the church would call ordinary time.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like people are on their best behavior on holidays most of the time. Like, it's like, you always know that after Halloween, if you're on the outside looking in watching a couple, right? And maybe you have a friend that they're kind of up and down, the relationship, their breakup, their makeup, whatever, right? Or one says they're not happy, blah, blah, blah. You always know that after Halloween, November 1st, the moment has shifted. And suddenly on their Facebook, their Instagrams, all the things, it's holidays, love, all the things. And then it goes for a little lull. And then February 14th, we're back onto it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it subsides again for the summer.
Yeah. I always find interesting when somebody puts, and please, my friends that are watching this, don't take offense to this. I just find it different. If I'm in a relationship and I'm in love with somebody, and I don't know if I've ever truly completely been in love. I have loved people. But if I'm in this relationship and I think it's great, I write like a love letter to them.
On your
what I see people right now is like, hey, you know how I feel about you? You're always good to me and the kids. Love ya. And I'm like, I feel like that's like a coach speak answer, like, hey.
Wait, what do you see people doing that? Like, I see people write like these like memorials, basically, about the best person and da-da-da-da and all these things. And I'm like, what?
I put people on divorce watch when I see the, hey, just wanted to remind you that I love you on Valentine's Day. Thanks for being really nice to me and the kids, or thanks for being a great friend, or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what I would say. I'd be like, if I actually found the person, I know how nice I was to the not person. So if I actually found the person, then I'm going to, obviously.
But the question is, do you put it on public display.
That's what I was going to say.
Post a picture, tag the person, and say, Happy Valentine's Day to this person for all the reasons?
I would say something to them that's more than, hey, happy day, love you. So I would say more than that, but I also would like keep some for like us. So I would probably just say whatever I felt in the moment is, you know, I'd probably talk about, you know, from when you came into my life to now, I appreciate this. But I see people like, it's like they're trying to say something nice and it's hurting them to do it. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's like,
I don't really see that as much. Like I see people actually almost like they're pouring it on too thick for the, like keeping up with the Joneses. Like they're pouring it on too thick for everyone to think they have this perfect relationship.
You know what they call that?
What?
You know what they call that?
Keeping up with the Joneses.
An alibi.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they call that. They call it an alibi.
Listen, I think you should write, like when it comes to social media, I think on somebody's birthday, if they're super close to you, it's okay to do the whole celebrate them because it's one day a year, celebrate them, right? And I think maybe anniversary is probably the only other time. But I think like every other holiday to do like something for public to your spouse is just weird.
To me, I kind of do it in the moment. Like I'll do it on a random Tuesday that's not Valentine's Day.
But that's better than doing it when everybody, it's like getting engaged on Valentine's Day, Christmas.
Yeah. I realized,
like, dude, that means you didn't have to buy a gift because now you gave the ring.
Not the women that I know, they'd be like, "Where's my gift at?" But
right,
you know.
I mean that doesn't count. That's like a duh. Of course you got to give me the ring. Now where's the gift?
I would say that if I ever got engaged, and it's looking bleaker by the moment, but if I ever got engaged again, it would not be on Christmas. Well, I haven't done this, but I'm just saying. I wouldn't do it on Christmas. I wouldn't do it on Valentine's Day. I wouldn't do it on New Year's. I wouldn't do it at Disney. And I would not do it at a stadium.
Okay.
Because that's like, you know what I mean? I want to do it where it's uniquely us. And I don't want her to be in a situation where she thinks, well, I have to say yes because they're going to boo me at Yankee Stadium. Or, you know, if I'm at Disney and I say no, like he grew up at Disney. This is, you know, it's a huge part of his life. You know, so I'm like, I'm kind of thinking like alleyway, strip club, trash can, somewhere where like she would have no reason to say.
No idea it's coming. Like no idea it's coming. I mean, literally the most unsuspecting she could ever be. You know what I mean? That's a great idea.
I think that, and I hope future whoever you are, don't listen to this. I want to do it in front of a trash can on a sketchy street. And then as I'm going to do it, I get down on my knee and I open up the box and there's no ring. And then Oscar the Grouch pops out of the trash can and hands it to her. That would be cool.
Clever.
Yeah.
Clever.
And then she'd find out we were on Sesame Street. How do you go wrong?
You could do that at SeaWorld.
Why they have Sesame Street?
They have the Sesame Street set up, yeah.
Well, I have really not been there in a long time then.
Me neither, but I do watch ads.
That's true. So I do too. So I would say as far as Valentine's Day, I do have one story that I could probably go to. It was so hard for me to find one because like you, the crazy has found you and I on the random days. But there was a Valentine's Day before I married my ex-wife. Yet again, another sign of God going, hello. But it was Valentine's Day, and I'm like, I'm going to cook for us. I'm going to do all this stuff. I was living with my grandmother because I was taking care of her because she had fallen. So when my girlfriend came into town, she lived like an hour away with her mom. When she came into town, you know, she would stay with me and my grandmother, and because I had to be there to take care of her. So I was like, I'm going to go all out. Like I had gotten stuff, gotten flowers, got a ton of different, candy that I know she likes.
Yeah.
Little trinkets that showed that everything was like, I listened to you. Mm-hmm. I hear you. And then I was making, I think, like shrimp tacos. And so I'm in the kitchen cooking, and she was in a bad mood. She was weird all day. She was like ignoring me. She waited till the last minute. She admitted to me at like 4:00 in the afternoon. She was at like Walmart and everybody was mean. And this is a stupid holiday. And why do I have to get you anything? And I don't even care. I just want to go to bed. I don't want anything that you got me. I don't want to celebrate this. And she's telling me this while I'm cooking with a smile on my face and like candied hearts all over the place.
Yeah, like you're so excited for the big day. Yeah.
So I'm like super amped. And then she's like, yeah, this day sucks and I don't even want it and don't expect anything because I didn't even get you that much. And so I do remember that. It took me a while to remember that, but I do remember that day where I was like, yeah, I would rather not celebrate Valentine's Day than be this excited for someone who's miserable.
Did she come over?
She did. And I think it was to the point where I was like, I'm cooking for you. Like, can you I know you might not like the holiday, but like, I'm cooking for you. So can we? And I feel like she was like, you're right. Like, I think it was something too. She's like, I don't even know. It was like, did she say, are you making that or you're making shrimp or something like that? And I was literally like, am I going to break up with this girl on Valentine? Like, you're complaining about the free food that I made you? Go sit somewhere and accept.
And to think about like your feelings being so crushed too. Like you're excited to like put this on for her. And in a way, you're both young. You're kind of playing house a little bit. Like, it totally defeats the purpose. It's like almost like don't even come over.
Like, I honestly felt like if there was a giant teddy bear, she would have stabbed it in the gut. Like, I was just so done with it before. I was almost like, do you even want to come over? Like, I'd rather just kind of eat by myself and hang out with my grandmother because my grandmother is a loving person, will always be. And so I remember that one, but my Valentine's, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's funny, not funny, haha, but like, I had like a Christmas like that kind of one year. Where I had a boyfriend who, like, I showed up to his house, like, I'd done my family stuff all day. I showed up to his house. He made, like, a weird comment about the outfit that I was wearing, like, totally, and I thought I looked nice, apparently he didn't. I was wearing black, so he's like, oh, you going to a funeral? Like, what? And then I had gotten him a present, and he wouldn't open it because he didn't get me anything. And he was, like, cold as, literally so cold. So anyway, I ended up leaving, going back to my grandparents' house. And my mom's like, well, what did he get you? And I'm like covering my tracks, like trying to come up with a lie because I don't want them to hate him. You know what I mean? To hate him. Yeah. It's like, let my daughter never go through this crap. Let me tell you that right now.
Not this Christmas, the Christmas before, that was the stare at the wall ex.
Yes, I figured.
So I retroactively realized my Christmas was different. I thought it was great. I thought it was sweet. Right. What it ended up being is that I left my family on Christmas and had them do dinner so early at my mom's house and didn't get to spend time with my cousins who come in once or twice a year or my aunt because I rushed to get down to her while she was texting another married man to come over and do things to her. And I found that out after the fact. And then I'm going back and I'm going, on Jesus's birthday? Like, you're nasty, but you did it on Jesus. You couldn't take Jesus's birthday off?
Right.
And I was coming down in the winter, leaving my family, doing all this stuff, packing up Lily. I bought all these gifts for her. I bought her things that I never bought my ex-wife, things I never thought I was going to buy anybody. And I'm like looking back on it going, wow, there was something going on in the background and I had little to no idea.
Yeah.
So I look back at that and I'm like, there should be reparations I think there should be a fund that you can't go into all the time. But since the government gives free money to people all the time, I think there should be money that there should be this like dating reparations fund.
Like it should be a tax write-off. Like if you bought things for people who don't appreciate it, should be a tax write-off.
Yeah, like I wanted to be able to go that year and be like, I was going to go to my taxes and be like, okay, negative $1,000 for woman who cheated. These were the gifts. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like, what'd you say?
You gifted her. That is a tax write-off.
Yeah. And I can say that there was some very expensive things that she kept forever. But, there's that reality to me that I think, and you can make it an equation, but it's like you take the money that you spent, divided by this, times this percentage, and there should be like a dating thing. Because if that was the case, I would have so much. But I do look back on it and tell myself, to have my 90-day rule and to not have to have any concern about it this year, that saved me so much money that I can't even imagine or fathom it. So now when I go to the store and I go, do I really need that? I go, you know what, Dan? You do.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I do every day.
And I know what I like. So, but to those of you that are having a Valentine's hangover, let's get into Valentine's Day, because I have people do this, right? I have the people do it's a commercial holiday. You should love people every day. Why do you love people once a day? It should be every day. I've also heard the notion of why do people always say, what are you buying her? And nobody says, what are you getting him? So there's that notion. So let's tackle that first, and then we'll tackle Valentine's Day. Because I think that's a great point, is that I always hear, what'd you get her, what'd you get her, what'd you get her? But when do you ever hear someone say, well, what are you buying your husband? What are you buying your boyfriend?
I know somebody like this, just so you know, and he's always buying his girl, like, really nice things. And my question always like, oh, what'd she get you? Like, whatever. And he's never that excited about it. And I'm always to myself, I'm like,
She didn't get him anything.
I mean, I will say this, for me, for holiday stuff, like, because Josh isn't into it, like, I will say it takes the pressure off me completely, because now we just don't. We take care of the kids, and like that's what we do, Plus, we buy things for, like, it's so hard to shop with people that just buy for themselves all the time. It really is. It's ridiculous. Like, it's almost like he and I say this all the time too. It's like, I'm going to give you a $50 gift card, and you're going to give me a $50 gift card, and then it's like, what is the point? Why are we doing this? So in that sense, I'm not upset that we don't do it. However, to your point about the gifting thing, it is a very, I don't want to say sexist, because that's such a strong word, but it is implied that the man is always the one buying the gifts. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be equal. I mean, unless your spouse, doesn't have, I don't know. I mean, doesn't have money. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but.
As a man thinking about Valentine's Day, because I never thought about it until this was provoked. And then I took a step back and I'm like, wow, 37 years, Dan, you never thought about this once. And I thought, and now that I am, I'm like, what I get is, what did you get your mom? Did you get your mom flowers? Did you call your mom? Did you take your mom out? If you're dating someone, what did you get her? Let me see what you got her. Was it nice? Did you spend enough? Did you get her enough? Did you take her somewhere nice? It's not that you got her something. You have to get her flowers and candy, which is different from the gift. And the gift does not take the place of dinner. You have to take her to dinner at a nice restaurant that costs money. So you take her to a $100 dinner.
Right.
You buy her a $40, $50 gift. You buy her candy, which is $10, and you buy her the $6 card. So at the end of the day, it's $200 for me to have her go, I got you this keychain. And I'm like, no, that was from your ex-boyfriend that's been in your house for 3 years. It's like,
Well, and listen, not for nothing. Okay. There's other things that factor in. So if you are married with kids, well, you got to get a sitter. Well, it's hard to find a sitter on a holiday night because they're taken. So let's go ahead and factor in another $100 in just the sitter. So It's like, for us, like, first of all, we never go out on holiday nights anyway, because we don't like places that are packed and you have to wait. Like, that's not like our vibe. So in general, like, even when we were younger, we would go out, like, let's say Valentine's Day was on a Tuesday, like it was this year. We would pick the weekend or whatever to go out. Like, we would not go out that night because we don't want to be out. It's the same as New Year's Eve. I never go out New Year's Eve, you know what I mean? For that same reason.
I feel that.
So, I mean, and then when you start to, like, factor in the cost of, like, a babysitter and all the things, it does add up. And I know it's the experience and it's trying to connect with your person or whatever, but to be honest with you, I feel connected sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you wholeheartedly, because I've said I'll go to New Year's in New York City if I can be brought in by a helicopter to a roof.
Yeah.
And I can be brought out by the helicopter.
Yeah. So, yeah, that whole thing, we talked about that, and you told me about the whole, like, there's no bathrooms and stuff. I was like, wait, what?
No, I'm not wearing a diaper in New York
City.
Like,
I always thought it would be an experience I'd want, and then...
Well, I think kind of like this. If I wore a diaper in New York City, I would be like probably most people in Times Square. So, I mean, it is, but they have naked cowboy, and he wears a diaper. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see, Valentine's Day, there's no, I'm like, you know, how you described you and Josh, I'm the same way in the sense of, on Valentine's Day, I'm like, I have to find a parking spot, and we're going to go downtown. I'm going to drive around for like 30 minutes. Then we're going to get it. Then we're going to have to sit there and wait. These people didn't get up. Then we're going to get that table that, is going to be in the middle of everybody. Then I can't see the menu because it's so dimly lit. And like, there's no part of me that wants to be in a jam-packed room of all these people on Valentine's Day. I would rather be at home, dress up at home. This is how I think about it. I said this to somebody recently. I'm like, if you dance in the house and things start to get hot, you got rooms. if you dance in the club or you're eating in the club, you got to go get the valet, get your car, then pull out. You got to
pray she doesn't pass out. Pray she doesn't pass out from being drinking too much on the way home. All the things.
And then once you're finally done, yeah. And and that's the thing is like some guys will tell you once some PJs go on. So it's like it's just, to me, I would rather
the PJs go on, her stomach hurts.
Oh, yeah. I remember one girl said, it was my ex-wife. My stomach hurts, my head hurts. She said other thing like that I'll leave off of a family show. But she said this and this, and there was like 8 different things. So it got to a certain point where she goes, I was like, do you want to do this? And she goes, and I go, well, which excuse is it today? Which one are we going to? I said, should we just make a thing and spin it? And she really didn't like that. And I was like, well, I know your games, so I know that you can't. And I said to one girl, I go, you've had your period 3 times this month. So when did you actually have it? Because that's not the case. But yeah, I will tell you this much. The man I am today, if the date is not great and she expects this money and she wants to go home and put them PJs on and there's no romance, then I will get up from the table, put the money down for what I spent and say, I'll call you a cab and I hope you have a good night.
Yeah.
I'm not staying there for that. Absolutely not. I won't fake it till I make it type of relationship. I did that already. Sucks.
Right. Well, and listen, you're not married. So if you were dating somebody that already was like, given that kind of vibe, then
Can I tell you about? Okay, so I went on a date.
It's only going to get worse. I know somebody else. I'd say this. I know somebody else who's in a similar situation with dating, and it's only going to get worse.
So I'm gonna throw this at you. You and I talked about dating apps. I will leave it unnamed, the one that I'm on, but I had paid for it. Ooh. And so I deleted my account, but I paid for it. You're supposed to be able to restore your purchase. Yeah. And I was like, man, I got another month of this. I paid for this 3 months ago. I might as well just use it, or else I threw money in the fire, and I'm not that type of person.
Right.
I'm a fiscally responsible person, I would think. So
yeah, you're like the guy who you signed up for the team when you were a kid, and your parents are going to make you finish out 8 weeks. Okay.
So I was like, I'm going to do these last 4 weeks of this dang app. So I tried to get back on. It wouldn't restore my purchase. I reached out to them all these different ways, and then I kept reaching out, and then they finally answered, and they're like, well, when you delete your account, you can't get your purchase back. But they gave me my same purchase, like, on them. So even though I paid for it, they created one that was like free for a month. Mm-hmm. So I'm using it out. Okay. So I went out on a date recently, and this girl said to me, I don't want to be on your show. And I said, well, that completely is up to you. That's not up to me. That's up to you. And I had somebody say that to me. They're like, why would a girl want to date you if she's going to be on the show? I said, nobody makes it on the show that's a good person.
Right.
So, like, if you're on the show, by the way, if you say to me, I don't want to be on the show, you're going to be on the show because you're already telling me that something inside of you is a little off if you're worried about being on the show.
Right.
So she's on the show. Not going to say her name, but she made it. And so this is what she said. We went to get food. So I show up early. She shows up late. I'm in my car. It's cold outside. She makes like she's driving there. She didn't drive there. She walked. From where she walked from, I learned later on in the night, she walked by my car that I was sitting in. And obviously she didn't know it was my car, but I was sitting in. So I'm like texting her like, oh yeah, let me know when you get here. She goes, oh, I'm inside. I'm sitting down already. And I'm like, I'm trying to be a gentleman waiting for her. She's already in there. I go in, we sit down, we proceed to talk, and...
Is this the one with the drink?
What'd you say?
Is this the one with the drink that was like, what do you like to drink? And you were like...
No, this is a new one. So this is a girl who said, I'm not drinking because I have to work tomorrow, and she made like she was driving, and then she goes, I walked here. So then she gets herself a drink, and it took like almost an hour for her to get up because you had to get up and order your food. It took almost an hour for us to order. I was starving, and I'm trying to make like I'm not. So we have this conversation, and I can realize now she's psychoanalyzing me.
Okay.
She's asking me questions that is no longer a date. I am now talking to a doctor who's deciding what room I'm going to end up in.
Okay.
And what did she say? She said something along the lines of, I said, these are good traits in a woman. And she goes, well, what are the bad ones? And like she kept spinning things around going, well, if you like that, what do you not like?
Yeah.
So we went through dinner and I said, like, I'm a fixer. I used to be. And I said, I'm not a fixer anymore, but I used to be a fixer. And so she gets up, she puts her jacket on, and I talked to her about the stare at the wall girl. And so she knew all about her story. She puts her jacket on, she's looking this way, and she goes, I was a lot like that. And it was right after what I said. So I was like, oh, you were like me? You were a fixer? She goes, no, I was just like your ex. I did pretty much all the crazy stuff you said she did. And most people would refer to me as a crazy person. And I went, thank you for telling me that. Like, I wasn't interested in her, but after that, I was but to just come out and be like, I am crazy.
Yeah. You know? So when you go on these dates with people on a website or whatever, so it's kind of like a blind date, basically. You may talk first, whatever. Yeah. How does it end when you go on a date and you're like, I'm not into this person. So you're feeling that vibe already. You're not into them. You don't want to see them again. How does it end?
I did the thing that I never do. And anyone who gets to know me will know that I've probably done this 3 times in my life in 37 years. If I go, hey, have a great night, and I give a side hug, because I'm a hugger. So if I
oh my God, and I can't stand people that are not huggers, by the way, but keep going.
But I do a little,
side hug.
And then my mom was like, did you drive her home? Because she was walking. I'm like, I didn't want her in my car. I didn't want her to learn my vehicle. I was like, I wanted out. She told me she was crazy. And
it's like at that point, like there's no reason to do anything nice or pursue any further because there's 0 point in it. But yeah, the side hug, that definitely gets the right vibe.
Yeah.
Or more like when the side hug with a little pat on the back.
Yeah, she gave me the pat, and then but here's the thing. So I said nothing. Within a couple days.
Side hug, nothing.
Yeah, so I was like, have a good night. And she said, yeah. So then she texted me a couple days later. And I was not going to talk to her again. I was just going to let it be what it is. Because she also said other things. Because I said to her, I said, I was talking about people being friends, like when a straight man and a straight woman and this and that. And I had a conversation with her about, like, in a lot of cases, straight men and straight women struggle in being friends. And she was like, no, I have one friend. And she's like, well, there is a caveat. I said, no, there's no comma. There's no I'm sorry, but. And then she said to me, well, this one guy wants to date me. And every time I'm with someone, he refuses to. He's my friend. But every time I'm dating somebody, he won't talk to me the entire span of me dating them. And then he'll pick up again. And she said, well, we can't date each other. And I watch everything. Her phone was flipped over the whole night. I watched her turn. And when she was talking about the guy, she looked away from me, down at the ground, serious face. And she goes, well, we can't date because he lives far away. And I was like, if that's your only reason, I'm out. Because if that man moves an hour closer, then something's going down. It's like, we can't date each other.
There's a movie that just came out. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's on Netflix, with Ashton Kutcher and Reese Witherspoon. Yeah. And they're like best friends. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet, but I think the plot is this. They're best friends. She meets somebody, and then suddenly it like hits him that like he's kind of starting to have feelings for his friend, and now he's like devastated about it or whatever. So who knows how it ends in the ending, and they'll probably end up together. Who knows? But listen, I don't agree with you on this. On that women and men can't be friends. I don't agree on that.
There's certain.
Certain people can't.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Certain people can't. But I mean, I think I've had friends over the years that were like best friends that nothing romantic ever went on. Like it was almost like we were each other's wingman for dating other people. You know what I mean? And
I think it depends on the character of the person.
If you have any attraction to a person at all, then no, it's never going to work. If there's any kind of mutual, I take it back. If there's any kind of mutual attraction.
Yeah.
Like if you're two attractive people and you both think each other are attractive and you can see that person in that way, but you're just friends, like at some point, something probably is going to happen. But if you're not attracted to the person, then that's different because.
And she was trying to state her case, and she goes, I do photography for weddings, and I normally see the bride look happier with her guy best friend that's straight than she does her husband. And I was like, you realize you're just sitting here proving my point. Like I just wanted to leave. And
That's a bold statement. Don't tell any married guys that.
Also, and I've never been, I don't think I've ever been on a date before where I knew, like, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I couldn't wait to go home and just like lay with Lily, watch a movie. So that kind of like, I was like, you can't, no part of this was fun for me. So then she texts me a few days later, and if she says, I don't even know if I still have it, but it was along the lines of like, do you want to get back together or not get back together? Like, do you want to go out again and get something to eat? Like my treat this time, no strings attached type of thing. So
that was kind of nice.
So, but here's the thing. Well, she sent me like a bunch of stuff, long stuff. And then I was really intrigued by you. Talking to you gave me a lot to think about, including some helpful self-reflection. I really respect your beliefs. It made me super curious how you got to where you are. That was nice. But then it was like, she wanted to get together for a conversation. And then I was like, I don't know. And she's like, well, I know how you feel about like being friends if like it didn't work out in that sense. And she's like, well, I like the opportunity. I know how you feel about not being friends. I'm not looking for a date, just a conversation, nothing to lose. And
it's like she's trying to like convince you to go out with her again.
Which is me going like, no, because my gut that I never listened to was like, she told you to your face that she's crazy. So and
I always say go with your gut on things. I'm not saying that the guts are never right or never wrong, because I'm sure that there's things, but more than likely, I think people's gut is 90% dead on, and that people just choose not to see it. You know what I mean? So I would probably say go with your gut too. Plus, when she sees this and sees you talking about a read or text message, she's definitely going to call you again anyway. So.
No, and the thing that I find funny is like it's almost like the bitterness, right? I wasn't looking for a date, and that's not how she attacked the situation. So when I kind of responded the way I did, it's like, well, I don't want to date you either. It's like,
Well, and honestly, like women, they always say men love the chase and whatever, but so do women. So it's like the moment it's the same thing. Why nice guys finish last and they go for the douchebag, because women love a guy that's not interested in them. And they think that they're playing hard to get. It's like, no, they're actually just not interested in you.
Yeah. And for me, I don't take anything, and I'm not here to like read into this stuff or whatever about that. I'm not saying her name. I'm not going to talk about her life. I'm bringing it up in the sense of I finally learned my lesson of whether I was interested in her or not. She told me she was crazy. And she talked about, oh, I can't date this guy. He doesn't live close enough. So there's all these red flags that in the past, but my gut was like, go home and just sit. Just go home, just sit, just be. But here's the thing about like the dates and stuff. So I'm trying to get these all, by the way, I'm trying to get all these in by March 1st, because once that membership is over, I'm not paying for another.
Like you're really running low on time.
I'm trying to just wrap it up. But but my thing is too, is I know it's really important to me, and I don't mind if someone has kids, but it depends on the scenario, because I'm an uncle to a ton of kids, right? And I have a lot of adopted kids in my family. So, being someone who's not their biological dad, well, I have family who that is not their biological parents. So to me, it's like, I don't mind it, but I would want somebody to be open to, like, I've always wanted to at least try to have my own children. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I can. I have no idea if I can. I've never checked, but it's like, I would like the opportunity. So when I meet people now and it's like, accept that I have kids, and I'm like, okay, well, accept that I might want one of my own. And
are they coming out saying like, I have kids and I do not want more?
No, it was never. So it's like, everything's good in the conversation. Everything's been good. So it's something where it's like, oh, okay, this could be fun. This could be good. I don't mind that there's children involved and there's been no outright, like, I don't want kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that. And I also talk about faith openly, and there's never been like, I don't have any faith. But there's more of like a silence to it where my parents are like, hey, just let it be what it is. Go out, just let things flow as they flow. But I know myself, I know I can be a dad if I come into a situation where there are kids, but I know that I want at least the shot to have a family where we're both involved.
Right. I mean, I know a lot of people who've also been in situations like this around a second marriage or whatnot. And when they re-fall in love into their second marriage, whatever, and they're, with this person, most of the time they want to try to have a child with that person too. You know what I mean? Like they want that too, that bond of parenthood. Now, I mean, at the same time, it's like, don't take this the wrong way. But at your age, the odds are high that when you're going out on dates, that it would be more often than not that somebody would have children. And, my best friend, she just had a baby and she met a man a year ago and they had a baby and now, they're living together and all these things, but he's divorced with kids. Mm-hmm. And she's about your age, I think maybe 37-ish. And I remember at one point saying to her, like, you're probably going to come whenever you meet the guy, whoever he is, it's probably going to come with a situation where he has children. She loves kids. So that's never an issue. You know what I mean? But I mean, the same, I think if I was single, I wouldn't expect at this age, I wouldn't expect any 40-year-old man going on a date with me or more or less or whatever, close to 40 to think that, oh, I don't want to date her because she has kids. Like, I can't imagine somebody saying that because most men, I feel like at your range of 35 to 45 are probably looking for their forever person, and family is a big piece of that.
Yeah. And I think like kind of the final note, my mom says this all the time, and I want to get your take on it in our Valentine's hangover of 2 mics, no filter. She says, if a woman is in her 30s or older, and she's never been married and she doesn't have kids, there's something wrong. And I can't prove that wrong from my experience. When she says it, I'm like, Ma, come on. But she's never been, like, when I meet people now and they're like, no, I've never been married, never been engaged. Like there's a girl I talked to, 43 years old, never been married, no kids, maybe close to being engaged before.
Successful?
And what'd you say?
Successful?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. But to me, that's my thing too, is I'm like, well, Ma, some people focus on careers. Like, I can't pigeonhole everybody into that. But for me, I don't necessarily want somebody to have been married and have kids, but you're right. When I'm 37 and I'm dating, it's very, very hard to find like, I have no strings. My ex-wife and I don't talk. I don't think about her. I wouldn't even remember to bring up Marvel and the multiverse. I think maybe I was married to her in a multiverse. Not now, not in this universe, because I don't think about what she looks like. I have to literally think about her to even remember her because she's gone. I don't keep mindless information. And so I don't have that like, oh, she's going to come around, this and that. And to me, I don't care if there's kids involved. But the thing that I take issue with is I don't care if there's kids involved, but I never know like what the situation is with the guy.
Right. The concern over, are they done? Are they not done? Is there still feelings there? Is he a jerk? Is he going to be the kind that doesn't want me to discipline his kids? Like, yeah, listen, I think there's no way to go into that situation without it being messy. I think some people have figured it out, and there are great stories out there of co-parenting and how, spouses, they divorce and they meet somebody else who's wonderful. And then, the other person, instead of having hatred for that person, is like, thank you for loving my children the way you do. And thank you for that. And then they're able to, first of all, give the children a peaceful life, because it's the kids that are stuck in the middle on these things. You know what I mean? It's the kids stuck in the middle. So I think so that's one piece of it, right? The other piece of it is, to like your mom's point, like, I don't agree, and I'll tell you why. Times have changed, right? Like, people definitely do not get married and have children as early as they did 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40, 50, and so on. I think that often you find a woman who's very independent, very successful, and she's chased her career. And for whatever reason, as much as she wants to find that person, like you do, like, you know, that feeling of just that's what they want, they can't seem to find. And maybe it's men are intimidated by her. She travels. She's gone all the time. Her job is her, you know, you're married to your job. Those types of things. I think that is why you're seeing more women not be married or have a marriage under their belt well into their 30s, because they have been chasing all the things that make them unique in themselves, right? Yeah. Whereas maybe less passionate, less ambitious women are getting married earlier because they're not out there looking for those types of things or fulfillment that way. You know what I mean? I think that you can't really say that. Now, I have heard the same thing about a man.
Yeah.
Is he a Peter Pan? Like, is it the Peter Pan syndrome? He just can't settle down? Like, what is it? You know what I mean? If a man doesn't have a kid with somebody by the time he's 40 years old, like, have you ever been engaged? Did you propose to somebody and just broke it off? Like, what happened? Were you never able to commit? Because I find that hard to believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, I did not intend to be David Spade in the Grown Ups movie, nor did I intend to be George Clooney at all. So, and I don't live that life. So, I mean, to me, I got the opposite.
Look at George Clooney now. He's settled down now.
But I got the opposite of what I would have gone for. Like I think everybody, if you polled my friends, they would have said Dan was going to get married first, probably meet a girl in a sandbox at 4 years old, call it a day. And now it's like totally not the story I thought of, but everything about my life I love. So I wouldn't. That's all that matters. Yeah, I wouldn't change it. And I'm okay with me, Lily, my incredible people in my life that I have. You know, I got a kick-ass co-host. You know, I mean, what am I going to get upset about? Got a great parents, great dog, great friends that are brothers and sisters to me. And, you know, I don't work a day in my life.
I always say that when you are so happy with your circumstances and you're being uniquely, or you're being yourself to the fullest degree, and you're happy, you're satisfied with what you are as a person, I always say, like, I truly believe that's when love finds you. Like I know love finds people at different times, and it finds people at times when they're not themselves. And look, in your situation, those things don't work out. But I do believe that you find somebody who's going to love you for all the things that you love about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how it happens.
Yeah. And I also realize that I want to be with someone who doesn't want to filter my humor, because we are too much no filter. So with that being said, for Andrea, for myself, DT, and for all of you in this Valentine's hangover, hopefully we helped y'all be okay with, maybe you weren't okay, but now you're better okay now. Listen, it happens, folks. It's life. We get through it. And hopefully we brought you through it here today. Andrea, as always, I appreciate the time. And Josh, you now know, buy the protein bar today and put a Post-it note that says tomorrow.
I love it. I love it. All right. Bye.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Appreciate you being here and spending time with us today. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-thru location, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius in their double-decker cafe, so don't miss out on heading over there as well. Want to thank all of our awesome segments today. Big shout out to Carvel DeWitt and the Annoying Moment of the Week, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay with leadership. Today being the topic, what is leadership? Learning about that. I learned a lot of new things. I hope you did too, and hopefully it'll help you along your way. Lead is the segment, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. The top dog of the week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, honoring Clay Gagen-Sherman and the Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse men's basketball team that is continuing to make history with now 15 regular season wins, and they play a little bit over 20 games a season, so winning almost all of their games, and they've never won 15 in a regular season. They never won 12 in a regular season. Now they're up to 15 and counting, so a big shout out to Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, the men's basketball team, Clay Gagen-Sherman, and the entire staff and all of the student athletes. So big thanks to them and the support staff. So honoring the team and having Clay on today in the top dog of the week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Both of East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street, and the only places that I would suggest you bring your dog for short and long-term care. And I appreciate Lorraine and the entire team there. And of course, Two Mics, No Filter, what we called today's episode, Valentine's Hangover. speaking on dating, relationships, holidays. What do you buy? What have we learned? Wisdom, all connected and interwoven with comedy. That's what we do on Two Mics, No Filter. And I thank my co-host, Andrea Smith, for that. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. And, of course, we are here with you on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT, as well as on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and on Facebook.com / LiveNowDT. Once you hear the shows go live, you can jump into our archives. We're going to be adding pieces there from this week as well. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, as well as MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and you'll find us on any one of these outlets. You can also ask Alexa and your Google Home device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and they'll do that for you as well. Want to thank all of our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York, and I have had the opportunity to interact with so many of them this week, which has been such a blessing to be feeling better and hopefully continue to get better, and to be able to get on the road and go out and see these wonderful people. Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, as well as Avicoli's, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Great Lakes Honda City, Mother's Cupboard, 317 at Montgomery. The name of the restaurant is also the location, 317 Montgomery Street in downtown Syracuse. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Pizza Man, and Chick-fil-A Watertown. I was just up there this week. Love seeing Merritt and Catherine Brady. So proud of them in their 3 months that they have had. It's hard to believe it's only been a little over 3 months that they've been open, so God bless to them on their journey, and continued blessings to Jimmer Sikowski, who's been a blessing to us at Chick-fil-A Cicero, Chick-fil-A Clay, and beyond. So blessings to people that not only have these wonderful locations and great food, but that they care and they have faith and they love the community. I want to shout out the Delia family at Pizza Man, as well as the Bell family and JoJo and the team at Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Of course, John at Avicoli's and his entire team, and working tirelessly to do what he does. Pete, Amy, and the crew at Mother's Cupboard. And we unveiled this week the Cuse McMother is now on the menu all the time. It's my spin on my breakfast sandwich, bacon, egg, and cheese with French toast as the bread, powdered sugar over the top. Fantastic. Big shout out to everybody at 317 at Montgomery. Of course, Joel, Natalie, Chef Roy, and the entire crew there. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Very, very much a big thanks to Lorraine, Chad, and their team. PB&J's Lunchbox, Pat and Sue and the crew. Carvel DeWitt, to the Cartinis, to Jay for believing in me from the beginning of the beginning, to the Townsend family and everybody at Great Lakes Honda City, to Danny and Heather Tome and the entire team at the Wildcat Sports Pub, to Aubrey and her incredible crew at Witty Wicks, and to Matt Goddard, Amy, and the entire team over at Cafe Kubal. So much love to each and every single one of you, and I just want you to know, even on the days where you don't feel seen, I see you. I also want to give a special thanks to the wonderful people at Lemoyne College. For giving me the opportunity to be your exclusive multimedia marketing partner with Lemoyne College Athletics. It is absolutely my privilege to be able to cover athletics and beyond with wonderful conversations weekly. And of course, those of you that know Wake Up Call know that Wednesdays at 9 a.m. to start the show is Dolphin Time. And every first and third Wednesday of each month, we get into AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And second and fourth Wednesday, we bring you Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can check out our coverage of the Lemoyne College Dolphins, including our exclusive series on realignment and reclassification, of them potentially going D1 from Division II. All of that's on the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. And all of our Lemoyne content is available 24/7 around the world on YouTube. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel and search Dolphin Dive, as well as AD and DT, and our realignment and reclassification So that's all on our channel. Subscribe to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And for more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Also, doubleheader this weekend. Saturday is going to be bananas. So this weekend in Central New York, this Saturday, Lemoyne women's and men's basketball will have a doubleheader against New Haven starting at 1 o'clock with the men's game to follow at approximately 3 p.m. at Ted Grant Court right off Erie Boulevard in Syracuse, New York. So make sure you go out and see them, as well as all of the sports going on. The ECACs are coming up for swimming and diving. Softball's back in it. Baseball's back in it. Lacrosse is back in it. So many awesome things going on. And track and field as well. So pay close attention to all of the wonderful teams, student athletes, coaches that make up the fantastic community on the Heights at Lemoyne College. And like I said, for more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. The Bryant Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. Catch the stories with the Bobcats called Bobcat Buzz by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Wake Up Call DT, all one word, you will find all of our Bobcat coverage by searching Bobcat Buzz. If you go on YouTube right now and search Bobcat Buzz as 2 words, you'll also find us there as well, and you can subscribe by doing that. So make sure that you subscribe right now and that you check out our Bobcat Buzz specials with men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, who have both won national championships, the inaugural season coming up for baseball, and more. And, of course, you can go see this Saturday as well. This Saturday, February 18th, there's a doubleheader for Bryant Stratton, and their women's team will tip off at 4 o'clock. Their men's team for basketball at 6 o'clock. You can go and see them, and as Clay said it is senior night, so go out and see Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse at 201 Hamilton Street at the Boys and Girls Club. That is the gymnasium that they utilize for the campus that is on James Street in Syracuse. So go out to 201 Hamilton Street, see them at the Boys and Girls Club in Syracuse as they have their doubleheader. So the day starts off this Saturday, February 18th, with a Lemoyne basketball doubleheader, followed by a Bryant Stratton doubleheader. Don't miss a beat of any of that, and stay close to Wake Up Call for more information. And, of course, for more information on your Bobcats, you can also go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With all that being said, I hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend. Today is a little bit cold, a little bit snowy. Great time to go out and see Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I will be giving you my non-spoiler review of it. I was looking at it and saying, in the new year of 2023, how do I want to start off Superpowered Pop and this new life for Superpowered Pop? And I felt that getting into business, I was considered the little guy, right? And as Scott Lang says, you got to look out for the little guy. So what better way to bring Superpowered Pop back to the airwaves than to be looking out for the little guy? So I'll bring my Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania non-spoiler review to you because I saw it on opening day. So we'll get into that. And I saw it in 3D, so we'll talk about that as well. And that'll be coming up, Superpowered Pop. Check at Superpowered Pop. That's Superpowered Pop on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and superpoweredpop.com. We'll put that up for you, and we'll have some fun with that. You can also check at Superpowered Pop on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. We'll be reviewing that and having a great time. Then this Saturday, it's all basketball. And then Sunday, I get a little break, which is kind of nice. So I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you stay safe. Thank you to everybody that came out to all of our shows and that support all of our wonderful partners in business in Central and Upstate New York. Great friends, great partners. God bless each and every single one of them. So thank you for going out to all these places. You know the Wittywick candle is always here in the studio. You know the 315 Home Sweet Home. You know the Cuse pillows, the 315 pillows. The Upstate New York ornament that you can put on your tree. You can also hang it and have it by your door or put it in your kid's room or in your room or in your studio. You can have it at all times here. So the Upstate New York, and we have the Upside Down Light from Coleman's. We have the Upstate 315 as well. So you can have all of this wonderful stuff that comes to you from Witty Wicks by going to 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. obviously fill your cup up right as we do here on Wake Up Call with Cafe Kubal and the many locations that they have, as well as cafekubal.com. And a big thanks to Andrea for joining me for a Valentine's Day, Valentine's hangover, talking about dating, relationships, holidays, as well as having some fun and bringing some wisdom in Two Mics, No Filter. One of the newest segments to Wake Up Call that you should pay attention to because there's a lot of great stuff that comes out of it. And Andrea and I, just a great co-host opportunity because I really feel like we flow together, and it's created something very special, a show within a show here on Wake Up Call, so don't miss it, and definitely make sure you stay tuned. Big shout out to Canine Camp Dog Daycare for the top dog of the week and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Big shout out to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, and Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. On our social media, we have aired my conversation with Jason Leone following his 300th win with the Oswego State Lakers men's basketball team. They're ranked 10th in the nation of over 400 NCAA Division III schools, and they're right here in upstate New York. So check out that video, which was shot exclusively at Mother's Cupboard. Go to Mother's Cupboard any day of the week, including today, and get the Cuse McMother My Own Sandwich, now on the everyday menu at Mother's Cupboard, 3709 James Street in Syracuse. Big shout out to the Wildcat Sports Pub. We've been there for 3 broadcasts in the last 2 weeks with boys ice hockey as well, and now we're in postseason time, with boys basketball at West Jenny, now we're in postseason time, and with celebrating, of course, as you know, recruiting upstate and central New York and the state of New York in general is very important to me, and I'm so happy that we have a West Genesee strong safety / free safety, Vinny Ferenzi, who will be going to Dayton to play NCAA Division I college football on scholarship. So a big shout out to him. We got to do a special with him and Joe Corley. You can check all of that out on Facebook.com and YouTube.com /WakeUpCallDT, as well as my videos I shot at Witty Wicks on 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, one that was just aired last night. So many things coming up, so many things we've done. This week has been jam-packed full of greatness, so check it all out. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and on Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, and check out my story on Instagram, as I always seek to inspire and bring some positivity and a few laughs to you as well. I hope you have a wonderful day and a fantastic weekend. Shout out to the Salt City and my beautiful, beautiful home. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Shout out to Macklemore. God bless, no stress, do your best. I'll talk with you soon. This is DT